Well, we welcome you to the April 11th, 2017 City Council meeting, and we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start out this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Remy, if you'll lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, we welcome everyone to City Council tonight. We remind you, if you have cell phones, to please put those on silent or mute. We are having our meetings tonight brought to us by MCM, and so if you do receive text or phone messages, if you would go to the lobby to take those calls. We are to that part of the meeting tonight where there's an invitation for our citizens to provide public comment. And so anyone may speak on a topic other than a topic that's already on the agenda, a matter in litigation, quasi-judicial land use matter, or a matter scheduled for a future public hearing. And so is there anyone that would like to address the council this evening?
Sorry, I was late. We were outside, we didn't know it was started. What was the agenda that you were talking about first?
So the agenda, we've had it up on the board. So again, the topics you're not able to address this evening would be something that's already on the agenda tonight. Number two would be a matter of that we're in litigation over right now. Number three, a quasi-judicial land use matter or matter scheduled for public hearing at some future date. Anything else you can address the council. Okay? So, JW, did I see you stand?
Yeah, but now I'm confused on whether I can talk or not. You guys set me up. No.
Oh, we do that all the time.
I know.
If you sign in and state your name for the record.
JW Milligan. I reside and have we have our offices at 624 Northeast 2nd. We're one of the few people that actually have a residence and an office within the McMinnville Urban Renewal District. Now, my only concern about what thing that you qualified in there, they said future public hearing. When I was talking to Jeff and Adam, the thing that I want to comment on is that the next meeting is a hearing, but there's no hearing tonight. Does that mean I can talk about it or not?
You can talk about it. There's not a public hearing scheduled.
Okay.
It'll just be brought to the Urban Renewal Board.
Okay. First of all, I want to say I really believe in urban renewal districts, and I also believe in the Atticus Hotel and everybody behind that. My concern, what I disagree with, is the process I believe that's coming forward to you is flawed and does not take into consideration other needs. On the grant to allow them $100,000 forgivable loan. I guess the first issue is I do not believe that they even need the grant. I mean, you're breaking ground in $100,000 in May, and this is not the Convention Center Hotel in Portland. This is going to happen no matter what. Sometimes as public officials, we give away things that we don't need to. I also believe, from what I've been able to see, Jeff and I, the city manager, had a discussion, but from what I can see in the process, if you look in your packet, it talks about loans. It does say grants in the headline, but nothing in the process talks about forgivable loans. And the other thing on the urban renewal district is, they've already borrowed money. In order to do this, they have to borrow more money from the city. And I know the forecasts are conservative, but if you give this grant for the next 4 years, you crowd out anybody else that wants to get a grant from the urban renewal district because it's only $20,000 a year. So we're giving all the money to a high-end hotel that I don't think needs it. The other thing is I do firmly believe that if you ask for public money, you have to disclose. It's called transparency. And I do not believe that the cities did not release the financial information. If they want money, put your information on the table. Because to give you, we can't tell if, I don't believe that they need it, but in addition, the loan process says it cannot be used for tenant improvements. Yes, it's for system development charges, but if you, the only information we have is there's $200,000 for tenant improvements on the restaurant. I've done developments and stuff, and basically you get a tenant, they put up $100,000, you put up $100,000, you go to the bank. You can use substitution. So this could actually be used for something that's not allowed at all. And then the biggest concern is I think we need to spend time on what we want the urban renewal money for. I have a different understanding of what it should be used for, and so do the rest of the citizens of the city of McMinnville. The reason I'm here is that there's plenty of discussion, that everybody is aware and transparent. I think there should be a point system. Instead of giving it all to one person, what, in my personal stuff, if we have an earthquake, Main Street's gone, except for Chaos or 1882. And depending on the magnitude, maybe the Thrifty building sits. But none of the tenants none of the building owners want to do earthquake protection. And that's something the money could be used for. In addition, we don't have high-speed internet access throughout the downtown. We have other public improvements needed, such as utilities going under. So I think we need to really sit down and do a criteria of what that money is going to be used for, instead of just giving it away. And there's not much time to do this, and I wanted to bring it to the attention before we got to the hearing, and so the public could have a discussion. So, any questions?
Any questions to my left?
No.
To my right? Thank you, JW.
Thanks for listening.
Mark?
Mark Davis, 652 Southeast Washington Street. I'd just like to briefly say I share some of the concerns that JW raised. I haven't spent the time that he has reviewing the Urban Renewal Committee's packet with all the information, but I am concerned that just, kind of philosophically, based on the discussion that the city held about the urban renewal district and, what we were trying to do with it, I just think that, sinking a lot of money into a private project right off the bat, just kind of, I just think the city would be a little tone deaf. I think that's not what the purpose of it was. I mean, if you were putting money into dealing with parking or, like he was saying, earthquake protection or something that was, general for the whole area, I think that would make more sense. I mean, it just doesn't feel right to me. And I also, share his concern about, the lack of numbers and accountability. I mean, who's looking at this? Who has expertise in development? Who's developed, multi-million-dollar projects? Who's looked at this and says, yeah, it's going to work? I mean, I don't know. And, I did see the number 50 jobs. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, we can't look at the numbers. Does that mean 50 jobs at $50,000 a year or 50 jobs at $10,000 a year? I mean, we're just, we're taking everything on faith here, and I'm just not comfortable that, that's the way we want to be handing out public money. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark? Thanks, Mark. Okay, any other comments to the council this evening? Go ahead.
Gary Prop, 2092 Lucy Bell Street, McMinnville. I'd like to discuss the elimination of the fire department's fire safety and education program that Jeff Cranfield holds at this time. I feel that it's a vital part of the fire department and public relations and education. a lot of elderly people. I know that he checks fire or smoke detectors and batteries. A lot of those people are not able to get up on a ladder and change those. Also, he does programs for fire extinguisher education. He goes to schools, talks to the kids. When I was a youngster, the police and the fire department would come to my school, and we looked up to them. They were heroes to us. And back then, there was about 10,000 people in this town, and we had a fire drill, and the fire bell would ring, and the kids would go home and plan it out with the parents, and it was an exciting time to plan that and to hear that the alarm and plan for that. And I feel that's very important for kids to know that and to learn about it. There are a lot of Spanish-speaking families now that the parents don't speak a lot of English, and pretty much they're going to get it from their kids through this education that's performed at the schools. And I think it's a very valuable part of the fire department. And I believe Jeff does a great job. I've known Jeff for years. He seems to know everybody in town. He's good PR. And I think it's a very important part. I don't know who else is going to take over. Are they going to divide it up amongst the department? If those things, smoke detectors, aren't handled and checked, and something happens, a fire, and someone dies, is it worth that?
Okay. Any questions for Jerry? Thank you, Jerry. Do we have any other public comment this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on. Tonight we have a consent agenda where we're considering the minutes of the February 28th dinner meeting and regular meeting. Is there anyone that would like to pull anything off of our consent agenda? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion.
Second.
It has been moved by Councillor Rudin and seconded by Council President Menke. All those in favor may signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. And this consent agenda passes unanimously. That moves us to the resolution portion of tonight's meeting. I'd like to share with the council tonight. Earlier this evening, Council President Menke, myself, and City Manager Jeff Towery had an opportunity to interview 3 individuals for the Budget Committee. Those interviews went very well. We have 4 positions, 3 qualified individuals, and so we met with Kyle Lake, Peter Hofstadter, and Drew Mulligan, and we feel that we would like to bring their names forward to you this evening to be appointed to our City Budget Committee. So Resolution 2017-227 is a resolution appointing Kyle Lake, Peter Hofstadter, and Drew Mulligan as representatives of the City Budget Committee. Our financial director is not here this evening. Jeff, any thoughts just from a staff perspective on that as you sat in on that?
No other comments to add.
Okay. So I ask for a motion to approve resolution number 2017-27, a resolution appointing Kyle Lake, Peter Hofstadter, and Drew Mulligan as representatives of the City of McMinnville Budget Committee.
So moved.
Do I have a second? It has been moved by Council President Menke, seconded by Councillor Rudin. All those in favor may signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. This resolution passes unanimously in favor. Tonight, resolution number 2017-28 is a resolution adopting a policy for the City of McMinnville Community Contribution Program. And Jeff, we'll call on you to give us a little bit of an update on that.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Over the course of the last several weeks and a couple of work session conversations with members of the council and staff, we've brought forward a proposed policy for you to implement that will give you a better structure around the issue of contributions to local nonprofits. We've shared the information with you a couple of times and taken some comments. I want to thank Marcia Bargary, the finance director, David Koch, the city attorney, and Chief Scales from the police department, who've done most of the staff work putting the policy together. The policy is intended to be used as a way that local nonprofits can request funds from the city. The primary focus of the process will be a relatively simple and straightforward application, but one that would require the agencies to identify which of the council's goals and objectives their services and their project might directly support. We also are interested in having the process function as a council-run process and not be part of the budget committee deliberations, as has happened in recent years. It'll give you and the budget committee more time to talk about the budget specifically on that night. So the expectation, if the council adopts the policy, is that while sitting as the budget committee, you would simply identify the amount of funds available for contributions to nonprofits, and that separately the city would advertise the applications. We've already had conversations through the mayor's office with the 3 nonprofits who have recently and historically received funds, so they understand that this new process is moving forward. Two city councilors, Garvin and Stassens, have either volunteered or agreed to serve, depending on your perspective, I suppose. And they'll be supported in that effort with 4 lay members from the community: Alina Mendez, who works for Senior and Disabled Services, Jerry Hart, who also serves on the budget committee, who am I blanking out on? Jim from First Federal Savings, the CEO, and why am I thinking? There's one more, right?
Fred,
No, it wasn't Fred. Help me out. I've had a brain cramp on who the 4th person is. Oh, it's Mary Stern.
Oh, yeah.
From Habitat. And then David Koch will provide staff support to the committee directly to work through the process. It's likely that some of the proposals that we receive might deserve the input from staff members in other departments, and David and the committee will reach out to get that input as necessary. We would plan to advertise right away, Friday. The advertisement starts. We'd accept applications for a few weeks. The committee would meet and make recommendations to the council. I think the plan is the 2nd council meeting of May. Those recommendations would come forward to the council. And with that, at the council's pleasure, we'd recommend that you approve the resolution. We're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions from the council to City Manager Towery? Okay. A resolution 2017-28, a resolution adopting a policy for the City of McMinnville's Community Contributions Program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Councillor Garvin and seconded by Councillor Drapkin. All those in favor may signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. This resolution has been adopted unanimously. This brings us to the advice and information items for this evening. Reports from councilors on committee and board assignments. Anyone that would like to report out this evening? Adam, if you had.
We had a Whitecomb meeting Thursday, and we'll be going over budget stuff. So next council meeting, I'll have quite a bit of information, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Aside from a brief meeting with Dave Huckeberg before I left on vacation with Scott, or not on vacation with Scott, but Scott and I met with Dave Huckeberg. Just some really interesting information regarding state funding for the bypass, and a lot of good things happening with our legislators.
We had and I just got back from vacation last night, but we had a town hall meeting with Senator Bolquist and Representative Noble here on, was that Thursday evening? Or
I think it was Thursday, yes.
Thursday evening, to a packed house, and having an opportunity to talk to our state representatives and senator. And I know there were a myriad of topics that were brought up, bypass being one of those, but also many other sorted topics that were interest to our community. Also, before I left on vacation, I had an opportunity to be involved in the Fall Events Center ribbon cutting, and that was a great event. More information to come as they delineate the things that are happening out there, but again, just a real show of partnershiping that I think we can expect from the event center as they move more rapidly into this community. Remy, anything from committees you've been on?
Unfortunately, we needed to postpone the subcommittee of the Affordable Housing Task Force focused on homelessness. We had a lot of committee members out of town, and I think Alan's going to tell us when the upcoming Affordable Housing Task Force meeting is. But I will certainly let everybody know when that meeting gets rescheduled to, which will be in the not too far distant future. And then I can go ahead. Then the Affordable Housing Task Force is scheduled to meet next on Wednesday, the 26th of April at 10 a.m. at the Community Development Center in the Planning Department. That is an open meeting. Citizens are welcome to attend.
Thank you, and I'm just going to take a moment to thank counselors for your participation on committee assignments. I'm very excited at the momentum that each of our committees are moving, and in many instances under your direction, but even when it's not under your direction, the input that you have, I think we're just doing the right and good things at this particular time. Let's go over and take a look at department head reports. Dennis, anything for us from the police department? Melissa, anything from upstairs? And Jeff, anything for us?
Just briefly, Mayor and Council, I know that you are aware of this, but just for the public record, the annual employee breakfast is tomorrow morning, starting at 8 o'clock at the community center, and I know some members of the council are able to attend. I'll be out of the office Friday morning and into mid-afternoon at a professional association meeting, just a short drive to the base of Mount Hood and back that day. And while it may not sound particularly work-related, my employment agreement does obligate me to live inside the city of McMinnville. And as of Monday, we were in escrow selling our house in Springfield, which is a good thing. And as soon as I sign off on documents tonight at home, we'll be in escrow on a home here in McMinnville. So looking forward to
and he has pictures, you guys, so
I've got
anyone that wants to
pictures,
come up and see the old home or the new home,
That's right.
he's got pictures. Scott, I overlooked you. Anything from IT?
No,
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to conclude the meeting of the City Council. Now we're going to go into a meeting. I'll call to order the meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency meeting, and I'll call that to order. Before us tonight, we have a resolution number 2017-4, a resolution appointing Kyle Lake, Peter Hofstetter, and Drew Mulligan as representatives of the McMinnville Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee. Again, Marcia's not with us tonight. It's the same committee, same discussion we had on the Budget Committee, but those members of the McMinnville City Budget Committee are also a part of our McMinnville Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee. So I'll ask for a motion to approve Resolution 2017-4, a resolution appointing Kyle Lake, Peter Hofstetter, and Drew Mulligan as representatives of the City Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee.
So moved.
It has been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Council President Menke and seconded by Councilor Drapkin. All those in favor may signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed may signify by saying nay. State that this resolution is passed unanimously in favor. Any other information that you need to bring up under the urban renewal meeting tonight?
Mayor, I'd like to just
Yes.
make a comment on our two citizens that came up and gave testimony concerning particular funds
Okay.
to be used. I think their thoughts were very timely and very good, and I think that we should take a good look at it again.
Okay.
And see if we're headed down that right direction as far as setting criteria and an example for future projects to make sure that we're in line with the policies.
And Alan, I would suggest that for any of you that have questions, it has been a recommendation, if I'm not mistaken, from the advisory committee, but to possibly meet with Walt Gal or with Heather when she gets back from vacation to answer any questions, as I know this will be coming to us at a later date, I'm guessing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's two very key people missing, and they will be at the meeting when it comes before us.
Right.
So perhaps there'll be some better responses for you that evening.
But again, thank you. Any other comments before we close urban renewal? Hearing none, we close this meeting and we adjourn for the evening. And I think this is a new record.
You still want to start earlier?